Yet behind them all, there is a deeper longing, a brighter treasure, a higher good, God Himself. The Bible tells us of a treasure hidden in a field and a man who gave up all he had to buy that field and acquire its treasure. Matthew chapter 13, verse 44. And that treasure is truly God. The greatest longings of our souls cannot be satisfied by forgiveness or joy or justice or heaven or anything else. They can be satisfied only by God, who is Himself our treasure, our reward, our joy, our delight, the one without whom we have nothing, and the one with whom we have everything we could ever need. Delight and true faith are as interwoven as root and flower, as indivisible as truth and certainty. They are, in fact, two precious stones glittering side by side in a setting of gold. Charles Spurgeon. Christians are often portrayed as downcast and dour, as people who are trapped in a system of beliefs that robs them of joy and life. And with a bit of honest self-examination, we can probably think of times when we have fit the cliché. Yet any fault in this is ours. For as Charles Spurgeon says so well, true faith is meant to be inseparable from deep delight, as interwoven as root and flower, as indivisible as truth and certainty. God's desire for us is not to live in captivity to a set of rules or to go through religious motions in order to impress Him or others. Rather, God's desire is that His love for us and ours for Him would generate a deep and lasting joy that would make worship a pleasure more than an obligation and make obedience a delight more than a duty. For in coming to know God, we have come to know the most delightful being there is, the one from whom all true delights flow in an endless fountain. To know God is to find in Him great joy and lasting satisfaction. All our joy must terminate in God, and our thoughts of God must be delightful thoughts. It is our duty and privilege to rejoice in God and to rejoice in Him always, at all times, in all conditions. Matthew Henry. There are many faiths in the world and a myriad of gods represented among them. Yet these gods invariably relate to their followers on the basis of works. To honor such gods is to attempt to impress them and, through acts of contrition and obedience, to attempt to gain and maintain their favor. But unlike other gods, the God of the Bible relates to His people on the basis of grace. By His own initiative and through the greatest of all sacrifices, He has won them to Himself. And for them, the only right and appropriate response is delight, to revel in the knowledge that God shows His love for us and that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Romans chapter 5, verse 8. The God who gave so much to save us will certainly never turn away from us or do anything that would ultimately harm us. And so at all times and in all conditions, through joys and sorrows, dark valleys and green pastures, great gains and sore losses, we can and must find our joy in the God who has saved us, the God who has brought us safe thus far, and the God who will bring us home to Himself. Spiritual delight in God arises chiefly from His beauty and perfection, not from the blessings He gives us. Jonathan Edwards. It is right and good to thank God for His gifts. We are to give thanks always and for everything to God the Father in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 20. We would be remiss if we failed to thank God for life and health, food and shelter, love and grace. Yet, we need to be careful that we do not come to love the gifts more than the giver, to honor God more for what He gives than for who He is. If we wish to truly delight in God, we must not do less than consider His gifts, but do more. We must consider God Himself. For the deepest spirit